Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on Volume 8, Episode 2 of RWBY. And I really liked last episode. It was a nice setup. We've got 14 episodes in this volume, so it spent a good chunk setting up our characters, the main conflict, reminding everybody about the stage and what's at stake. We've got Salem's forces all conveniently gathered on this giant whale grim. I like that Neo is instantly regretting her life choices. She just had a whole, it was like Job off of Arrested Development. She was like, I've made a huge mistake, like the whole episode. And so I'm predicting that Neo is gonna, at some point in this volume, maybe say, peace out. Salem doesn't really seem to care about me being here, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna head right out. I have that prediction for Neo. I like the establishment of our divide and conquer method with Team RWBY and Team Juniper, which I'm glad Jean and Oscar were kind of our cool heads last episode, and they're like, hey, let's split up, gang, and have two different goals, and we could still be united just trying to do two different things at once. We've obviously got Ruby, Weiss, Penny, Nora, and Blake together, and then we have what the fandom has conveniently called Team Orgy, which is but Oscar, Ren, Jean, and Yang together as well. And I like that they're working with the Happy Huntresses to conveniently round up all of Mantle under the crater, which is directly below Atlas. Which is, on the one hand, you gotta do it to save everybody at this point. That's the most logical decision, to try to cover the most ground and be the most effective and efficient. But at the same time, you're putting them under a giant island that's held together by a relic that our antagonists are after, that if taken away will cause the island to fall onto the crater and kill everybody. So and this entire volume is taking place over 2 days, so a lot's gonna happen, I feel, in the next obviously several episodes, and it's just gonna be nonstop chaos. I'm real curious. Last episode, Oscar still hasn't talked to Ozpin one-on-one as much as he wanted to, so I'm curious about that. Salem has sent her Grim to go get Oscar, which is scary. I have a feeling based on the trailer that we're going to get Paul and Dina sent Jean's team to go to the shop, so I'm assuming they're going to find the speeders there, and that's going to be that scene from the trailer. But yeah, a lot of different things set up. Obviously, Crow and Robin are now in jail in close proximity to Ironwood, who, this dude, I just watched Murder of Bird's reaction to episode 1, and I really agree with him in that Ironwood is leading through fear, which is ironic because he's terrified of Salem, so it's kind of just this toxic fear environment, and I'm really nervous but also really hyped to see Ironwood and Crow's interaction. And with Robin in the mix, I'm a little scared because Ironwood just shot a guy in the face, so I do want to comment that I think Winter, they've conveniently narratively found a way to get Winter out of the picture for a while, because just from her hand and the physical therapy it looks like she's going to need to recover. This is only taking place over 2 days, so I'm curious how much healing Winter can really do in 2 days. I love Winter's character, and I loved her in Volume 7, but I think it's a nice narrative way of getting her kind of out of the picture for now, until she's needed for the plot, or until she can find a way to come back in and it be like a surprise or a twist. That was just my speculation based on the last episode. But with that being said, I love RWBY, and I'm really excited to talk to you all about it. I hope you all comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the episode, and we can definitely talk and chat about theories, things like that. But in the meantime, we are going to start episode 2 of Volume 8 here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Rooster Teeth, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, man. Just shoosh. If we set up our characters and what's been happening in the past in the last episode, this one is setting up some of the stakes and just transitioning into our main conflict. There's so much to talk about. So breaking this down in segments, right off the bat, it's already apparent the exhaustion taking place with these characters. Like, you can tell from Rin trying to focus, which we'll talk about that. There's more to it than just the exhaustion, but Rin's focus, the Grimm just coming and keep coming, and they're like, okay. And then just, oh my gosh. Like, it's becoming apparent that these next 2 days are going to be a struggle for our protagonists because they haven't had any sleep. They haven't been able to get any rest. The exhaustion's going to set in, and it's just going to be daunting. But right off the bat, we have our jail cell scene. Okay, in the jail cell, we have Jacques, Watts, Robin, and Crow. So I don't know what teams y'all want to make out of that, but that's like some weird dynamics there. And it looks like Watts is being interrogated more. I have a theory that Ironwood is going to enlist Watts to help him get Penny back because he was in Polendina's team. He would be part of that. That's my theory. That's why he was taken away to be enlisted. Crow stewing. And at first, I thought when Robin was going back and forth, and I think it was intentional, it seemed like she was talking to Crow, but she was really talking to Jacques, which Jacques' a piece of dirt, so he's scum. I'm like, get him out of here. But Robin feeling helpless, and clearly, I'm assuming Crow is talking about, we're just going to have to kill Ironwood. Like, at the end of the day, this is all Ironwood's fault for going off the rails. And I know that there is, Crow and the others, all the things that happened with Clover, but I have a feeling that Crow's like, we're going to have to kill Ironwood, which is going to be interesting if we have Ironwood versus Crow. I'm like, I don't know, but just him blatantly saying like, nope, here's what we got to do. And Robin, of course, is probably going to be on board with it because she's like, this is what we got to do. It's our last resort. So that's a bit scary. The scene where Weiss gets launched up into the tube, Nora, girl. I love that that's our brief moment of comedy in all this. And just the idea that Weiss using the resources of Atlas and the resources she knows her family has to try to get that. It looks like their crew is being somewhat successful right now, which is good. But, oh my gosh. So, Rin and Nora, there's obviously some turmoil there. I think it's more on Rin's side right now because Nora seems to still be her chipper self, even though it's clear she's thinking about things, but she's still like her happy-go-lucky self. Rin looks like Rin's having some struggle. And I think it's because Rin doesn't like being separated from Nora and him coming to terms with how he feels about Nora and just the fact that she doesn't quite agree with him, and his past is weighing in on it, and that's affecting how his aura is working. And so with that negativity and everything. So, man, that's just, it's problematic and it's putting some death flags on Rin and Nora, but I'm like, I don't want anybody from Team Juniper to go because I feel like John's lost Pyrrha, and I'm like, and if Rin loses Nora or if Nora loses Rin, I'm like, what? I don't want that to happen. I know this volume, there's probably going to be some major deaths. I'm just like, I'm not ready for it. But, okay, so Oscar and Penny, it became very, very apparent in this episode, drawing parallels to these two characters on these two separate teams, Oscar and Penny's character. On the one hand, Oscar is... it's so sad, and it's so, like, I want Oscar to retain his individuality, because I love Oscar, like I said in the last episode, Oscar's my favorite character, and I love him, and I love where he tells Osmond, he's like, while you were gone, I felt like I was myself, and I felt like I was in control and having this, and Osmond's like, yeah, that's great that you felt like that, but here's the thing, I've been here this whole time, even though I've not been talking to you. So even though you thought you were in control and you thought you were handling those situations all by yourself, you weren't. I've been slowly merging with you this entire time. And in the last volume, there have been moments where Ironwood's picked up on it and said, you remind me of Ozpin. Where we, the audience, have seen Oscar do like Ozpin-like gestures and Ozpin-like thinking. And it's like, Oscar, I know you want to retain that individuality, but you're slowly merging with him. And that's just inevitable. And I know Oscar's so sad. He's like, I don't want that to happen. And my hope in game at the end of this entire series, I want Ozpin to get separated from Oscar somehow. I don't know how that'll happen. I don't. And it may not, but that's my hope because I want Oscar to be able to live his life, by the end of this series, which who knows if that's going to happen. But I really feel for Oscar's character, and then him wanting to feel part of the team, and him having his own individuality and being part of that team with Jean and Rin and Nora. Like, I get that. And then Penny's kind of in the same boat too. Her own team was separated from her and now is kind of turning its back on her and everything she stood for in protecting Mantle. And Penny just feeling so left out and isolated and sad about it. It's heartbreaking because I'm like, Penny is such an innocent soul and is so pure. And for her to realize that these forces around her that she thought she was friends with are corrupted and are actively trying to hurt the things that she's been designed to protect. It's, oh my gosh, just the parallels between Penny and Oscar this episode were so apparent and heartbreaking that I don't think Oscar's going to die in this volume because he's connected to Ozpin. I hope that I was like, we don't need another reincarnation. I hope I feel like he's safe. Even if he's stuck with Salem, he's safe. If that's weird enough to say, but Penny, I'm like, girl, I'm kind of with some other people. I think that the doctor is probably going to die this volume, or that Penny, I'm like, are you really going to do this, Rooster Teeth? You made us like suffer through her death once. Are we going to do it again? And she's got the maiden powers. And that's another thing, is when she says, I was the protector of Mantle, but I'm so much more than that now. That's so much like Oscar too, because Oscar's like, I was just this one person, but now he's got Ozpin's powers. He's so much more than that. He's not just Oscar Pine. He's now a reincarnation of Ozpin. So there's so much more being thrust upon Oscar in terms of the power that he's possessing and the responsibility and the pressure that carries. And Penny is the same way. She's more than just Penny Polendina now. She's a maiden. So she has that power and that responsibility. So just the connections between Oscar and Penny this episode were so good and such good parallels. And the fact that they're on two different teams doing two different goals is... And I have a feeling, my theory is at some point Penny's going to get reunited with Ironwood and Oscar's going to be with Salem, and you've got our protagonists that are struggling with the forces that they're struggling with. And it's like... But also, that Grimm, that terrifying Grimm, and the fact that it can be smart and that it can be cognizant, and that Salem's like, I've given you a purpose to go bring, because I'm sure that Salem specifically created this Grimm because she knows how tricky Ozpin is. And she's like, I know what to expect from Ozpin, and so I want you to be smart and evolving and go and get there. And so I'm wondering, it has the butterfly wings, the creepy, gremlin-y butterfly wings. I'm wondering then, does that mean in the opening that Salem's not going to transform, but that the Grimm is a representation of her clutching Oscar? Is that a representation of that? Is it just symbolic? I don't know. But that was freaky. And poor Oscar getting the aura knocked out of him. So he really cannot afford to get hurt at this point. I'm curious if they're going to get him back, but part of me is like, nah, that Grimm's going to fly off and take him right to Salem. And then what? And then what? So I don't know. That's just terrifying. Oh, Rooster Teeth. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening this episode, a lot of setup. I'm real curious what you all think is going to happen. Like, are we going to get Crow versus Ironwood? Are we going to get Salem and Oscar next episode? Are they going to get Oscar back? I like that they established that everybody in Mantle, they're trying to, they're actively showing like the parts and pieces of trying to get everything cohesively accomplished there. And I like the Huntresses are not just reliant upon Robin. It's kind of a nice parallel to the Aesops too, because the Aesops could manage things on their own, but they very much look to Clover as like that kind of glue. And it seems like the Happy Huntresses, even though Robin's their leader, they can be cohesive and get things done without her, which is a nice parallel. I like that contrast. But anyway, guys, I'm curious what you all thought of that episode. That was crazy. I don't know what's going to happen next episode, and that's frightful. I'm assuming maybe we get more with Ruby going into Amity. There's just a lot of question marks, and I love when Ruby gives us that and we don't know what to expect. So All right, good episode. But I'm curious your thoughts down below. Please feel free to comment. Let me know what you thought and your theories. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next week with more RWBY. Bye.